Alright, what is going on, PV family? It's your boy PV Craig God back at it. Well, not back at it, this is my first video. But, yeah, today we've got a deck profile for you, and I'm actually re recording this because I am a little bit dumb and I forgot to switch scenes, so we're gonna have to redo this. But it should be alright, and we've got my buddy, teammate Taylor Smithson today, who sucks at the game, unfortunately for him. But it's okay because he still got top 32 at Core TCG Regional this last weekend. Unfortunately, he came at the bottom of the 6-2s with really bad tiebreakers. But yeah, say what's up, buddy.
What's up, guys? I must not suck too. I mean, what does that say about all the people behind me? Just saying.
Whoa, whoa,
If I
whoa, whoa,
suck,
whoa, 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 whoa,
oh,
whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm just directing it at you. Okay, other
oh,
people, other
gotcha.
people,
That makes sense. It's
other
just me.
people are not necessarily bad at the game, but you are for a fact. See, I mean, it's represented by the fact you're at the bottom of the 6-2s, right? That means you suck at the game, obviously. You might have been 6-2, but like you're at the bottom. Okay, so we're not gonna debate this. Okay. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it was unfortunate. I mean, and the thing for me is, when you get this score at a regional, at any event where you have the same score as those who topped, but you just happen to bubble out. I mean, at the end of the day, that was up to your opponents whether you topped or not. So to me, you've still topped, you've still earned that. It's just you got a little bit unlucky. So yeah, today we've got his Mechikabura list. I know some people are asking for it, so hopefully we can deliver here and give you a really really good deck profile and in depth. It might be a little bit longer since it's just us. We're the team. It's kind of like a team talks kind of thing. So that might result in a little bit longer video, but it'll be worth it. Make sure you watch through for that really good information, and let's get into it. Let's make sure that I actually do this right. So let's click this button, and let's get into the PowerPoint. So let's get into it, man. First, obviously, is the leader, Mechikabura. So there's a lot of really good things about this leader. And compared to some of the other wish leaders I would release, back in, I mean, this has been the first wish leader since what, set 5, right? No, there's been other ones, right? Clash of Fates held Yellow Dende, but
Chile. Oh, wait, no. Yellow
Chile
Dende.
Chile's new. That's let's not let's not ponder on that. This is not relevant. But it's the first wish leader in a really long time, and he has a lot of good perks. Most wish leaders either got one ball and were able to swing, or they got two balls and weren't able to swing. This guy does both. He can swing it at you and grab two balls. His
Yeah.
wish is basically an awaken. You draw one, untap one, and then your opponent has to warp one from their drop area. And then on the back, he actually can still swing, and he does draw a card. But the more broken part, and I absolutely hate this effect because there are so many cards in the game that are 4 or less. You bottom deck one from your hand as long as all your energy is black, and then you steal something 4 or less. You do negate his skills for the game, but you also get to switch it to active mode, which is really great. And then his ultimate quote unquote wish is you sack the balls, and then he gains triple attack, which means you can draw 3 cards. Technically, it's a +2 because you still have to bottom deck a card for the effect, but it's so good. I mean, and Taylor will probably say this too, but sometimes you don't even use it as the ultimate. Technically, you just use it because you need to replenish hand. We live in a very aggro meta right now, so you might just need to. It's even a possibility that you need to do it as soon as you wish. So uh, I'm gonna let him explain why he chose this leader instead of me just rambling on. So yeah, go ahead, man. Why'd you choose this leader?
Yeah, so, I chose this leader, honestly. I was coming off of Sherman Salsa from the last set. I was really wanting to play Sherman Salsa. It's one of those decks I was, like, trying to make it work as well as I could, and it wasn't quite getting there. They released Mechikabura. I'm like, okay, what is this going to be? And I saw the whole card warping effects from the drop area. I'm like, wait, this deck does it better. So I was upset, of course, at first. I was like, man, I want Sherman Salsa to work so well, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bite my tongue, suck it up. And I'm gonna play Mechikabura because it just does what Sherman Salsa does better, so much better. They gave so many engine pieces for it. They gave it so much gas. and just the leader just has so much versatility. Just be able to play it how you need to. Like you said with the grabbing of the balls, like you can grab them, and you're typically going to wish turn two. Like
It's
there are not
crazy.
many games that you wish after turn two, and just being able to do that is so powerful. And the effects, like you said, they're so powerful. Like you're sure you're bot decking one card, but like you're gaining so much value. You know, you're either drawing three more you're drawing three cards, so you're plussing two there, or you're going to gain a card from your opponent, so your opponent's losing a battle card from their board, and you're gaining that just by bottom decking a card, which sometimes you don't even need. Sometimes you have some dead cards in hand, you're just going to bottom deck it. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's pretty much just a real quick rundown of why I chose this leader.
It's really strong leader. It does suck. Like I thought the same thing when I saw it. You know, it does so much warping from your drop that and it just has better cards. It's unfortunate that it's just a better version of Shumen Salsa, more or less. But you know, it is what it is. Hopefully they try to support some of the archetypes like that one because it is really cool. You know, but yeah, let's get into the deck now. For me, super combos are a very important part of the deck. You know, you might or not have a reason for them. It could be as simple as hey, you know, I go to four really fast, so I put a super combo that hey says when your life is a four less. But you know, there are choices a lot of times. You know, my dad when he built his Cell Surge deck, for example, he plays Assimilate and then he looks for the Nemege super combo. You know, you could do some little
Yep.
gimmicks like that. So here Taylor chose Demon God Toe offering the Dark Dragon Balls, which is also funny because they had to errata to put auto on it, but I'm sure that's not the reason that he put it in the deck. So let's hear, man. Why did you choose Toe for this deck?
So one of the reasons, just like you said with Assimilate, one of the cards that I play in the deck that we'll talk about later, it's a searchable super combo. Just goes with the deck. I also like that the ability to just combo it, even if you're typically gonna have Sparking Five. Like everybody knows that you're playing
Yeah.
Wish, you're gonna get, you're feeling your drop really, really fast. So you're gonna get your draws early. Um, I sit at a high life total, so that's one of the reasons that I don't typically I wasn't gonna play Vegeta is because honestly, like I'm sitting at a high life total most of the game. There were several games in the tournament that I was playing that I didn't get to four life until like
Wow.
turn three or four. Um, and so just being able to draw that one already is really nice. But also one of the big reasons really is pretty much that it's searchable and the 0 plus 10K. 0 plus 10K at any moment, even if you don't draw, I feel is so much more powerful than the 0 plus 0 effect that Vegeta has. Because many games that you'd play with that, if you don't have that for life, you don't get that plus 10K, and I think that
Right.
inhibits some of the versatility of that card. So that's the reason I chose Toa as my super combo.
Yeah, and there's sometimes like the four life matters a lot. You know, other than being searchable, you know, super combo being searchable is really good most of the time. If you can afford to do it, you should always do it. I think. But the four life thing is really important too because Mechikabura, like Taylor said, it is a deck that wants to try to stay high on life. You know, sometimes you might get unlucky. You have those balls in the life, but if you can try really hard to stay high on life, that really hurts the aggro decks because then they have to put in that extra little bit amount of effort for getting through to you and killing you, but they won't be able to do it as easily because you have more energy, you have more availability for counters. You know, like you can do Poutine, which is Topo. We'll talk about it later if you don't know what that card is, but the longer you can stall at a higher life, the better position you'll be later on in the game. That's not always the case,
Yep.
but in our current meta, I think it's really important because there's a lot of aggro. So this super comp makes a lot of sense. So next up, we've got the Secret Rare. You know, pivotal part of any deck. You know, it's a one of, but it's extremely important. And Taylor actually, plays a little bit of a different one. You know, he told me that people tend to play, Kai or Lineage, but he chose Sinshun Uncorrupted by the Darkness here, and I thought that was really interesting. And after seeing it personally, I feel like a lot of more people should be running this in their deck. I know that a lot of people are attached to Heron's Lineage, thanks to Eddie, but This card is slept on, man. So let's hear it. Like, how did this card for you do for you, and why'd you choose it?
Yeah, so man, I'm telling you, this card performed just like I needed it to. Whenever you need it, like there's of course there's times, Bardock, there's a Bardock Unison in the tournament that
Oh
somebody
God,
was
yeah,
playing. I was like,
it's
well, can't can't play this because this is gonna screw my secret rare up. So I just bot decked it. I used it as one of the bot decks I could use because it counts as a black card. Um, but just the ability, like the whole deck, it has enough removal. It has enough ways to get past through things that don't have barrier. You're always removing. You're always taking cards. You're always warping their drop. You're always doing all of these different things. I was thinking to myself, I don't need to be able to steal more cards that don't have barrier. I don't need to be able to remove more cards that don't have barrier.
very
What I
true.
do need though is I need something that's going to be able to have such versatility to be able to do anything that I need it to. It's a blocker. You combo it. It's not, and then you pay one energy, and it rests as much energy as they have. So if they have 5 energy, you rest that many cards, ignoring barrier, their leader, their battle cards, their unisons, like any of those things through barrier are just rested. It actually played a very pivotal role in one of my matches and actually helped me win the game and put me it swung the favor in my lead. The momentum went back to me in this match because I played this secret rare. Heroine's lineage wouldn't have done that. Kai's secret rare wouldn't have done that. Kai only stops the unison and the leader from
Right.
attacking. It doesn't stop battle cards. This hits everything. And like you
Yeah.
said, I do think it's slept on. I think people are definitely sleeping on this card. I heard somebody talking about it the other day, and they're just like, "Yeah, it just seems like it underperforms." I'm like, "No, like you have to use it in the correct moments. Like it's defensive, it's very defensive. It has the
This
ability
card is
to
so good.
rest things on your opponent's turn. It's a blocker, but also think about it this way: you can use it on your turn as well, offensively, and rest blockers that have barrier.
Rest everything. It's
Like
so
King Piccolo
good.
has a blocker barrier. You can use it on your turn as well. And just to, like people use Kai on both turns, you can use this on
Exactly.
both turns. You hit it for 2 energy, you're resting their if they have a bunch of blockers out, you rest all their blockers, and then you swing for game with all your bodies that you have on board. You also have the activate main for 4 energy, double strike, dual tech. I mean, it's such a versatile card to be able to use in so many different ways instead of just. I mean, that's the reason I didn't play Kai is because I don't need more board removal. There's so much
So much
like
already.
no barrier board removal. And so that's the main reason I played the Secret Rare. Like you said, it's definitely slept on. I think people are missing out when they're not playing it. Most people are choosing those other two. But I just fell in love with this card, and I really, really like the Sin Secret Rare.
It's really good, dude. Like, oh my god, like I get really hyped about cards sometimes, and I mean, I don't play any decks that use this card yet, but it's just whenever I think about a generic STR now, I add Shinron to the list. There's Lineage, there's Kai, and there's Shinron now. Yeah, like it's just incredible. Like blocker, taps everything, can even be offensive. It's great. So really good SCR choice here. So next up we've got the balls. I mean we have to outline them. There's 7 of them. It's a wish deck. Um, this is what I see people run normally. For Empire Strikes Back. I don't know if that's just because you don't want to buy more than 2 premium packs. You can't run more than 4 in this one. Unfortunately, that'd be broken if you could. Card's really good.
Yeah,
But you do 4 of that, and then 3 Yearning for the Dark Dragon Balls, and it's really interesting. I think there's a little bit of leeway, and I'll let Taylor kind of talk about that with Yearning for the Dark Dragon Balls. Like he probably will say there's more leeway with this card than people might give credit for. You'll probably discard it a lot off of Strikes Back, but there's more use for this card. So
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
let's talk about
Definitely, like
Yearning
you
a little
said.
bit.
Yeah, like yearning. Honestly, even if I could run all 7 Dark Empire Strikes Back, I probably wouldn't. Um, I just think yearning has, like you said, it like I mean, it has that versatility. Just be able to combo it, and not only combo it, but it has removal on it too. Um, a lot of people, a lot of my friends were like, man, like I'm just gonna play BMS on you. I'm like, okay, go ahead,
Okay,
please play
warp it.
BMS. Like, go ahead, put that on board. Play Dark Power Black Mess Saiyan on me because all my cards are 15K. I play them with skill. Sure, go ahead and do that. Activate main. Let me go ahead and warp that battle card. As long as they don't have another one that they can choose. It chooses. It's just so nice just to be able to do that. And then you don't always need to drop it for Empire Strikes Back. Use it for the activate main or use it for the activate battle. The problem with um, Dark Empire Strikes Back is sometimes you have cards in your hand you don't want to drop.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem. Like sometimes I've found myself like, man, like I draw into a Dark Empire Strikes Back, but I don't have another thing to drop in my hand. I'm like, well, this sucks. I can't just drop it for a combo, or I can't just use the activate main to get rid of one of their one drops. And so that's why I really like having Yearning as well. I really like this ratio. I think everybody pretty much runs the same ratio on it. But that's pretty much it for those.
Yeah, it's not super in depth, but it is important enough that we have to mention it because like this is the thing I thought of the first time. We live in an aggro meta, and essentially when you discard off of a strikes back, it's probably gonna be a 5K anyway. It's either Dark Dragon Balls, or I mean, unless you discard like I don't know, the 8 drop Mechikabura. I mean, that's the only scenario in which you're discarding like a 10K. But if you discard just a straight up 5K combo and then you combo the ball, then you're still gaining that same amount of value basically. It's just it's about using the card in different ways potentially. So because if you hold on to Yearning, then they might play a 1 drop or something. So it's just having that
Yep.
little amount of versatility that really matters. So now we will get into what the main deck engine is. This one's it's pretty clear cut. Bandai pretty much gave you this deck for you to build it, and the only real leeway is, oh, am I gonna play a unison? Oh, am I gonna play X amount of this card or this card? So here at the start, Taylor decided to run 4 Toas, 4 Salsas, and then 3 Shroom Ritual in hand. So to me, these seem pretty self-explanatory, but as he will say, he's seen people run less Toa and such. So let's. Why did you choose these ratios, man?
Yeah, so I still like every time I hear somebody running less than 4 on Toa, it just kind of blows my mind. I really don't understand it. It has, you're removing a card from a hand from your opponent's hand, and then they draw one. So it's fueling your warp for all the abilities that you have to use. You got your later you'll see King Vegeta, and you got your Mechikabura and some of the other finishers. They require cards in warp to do certain abilities. And so just being able to get a card off board, any card off board that doesn't have barrier, it literally hits anything that's a battle card on board. Like no cost requirement, nothing. Like it's amazing just being able to plop that down and it's like, okay, warp one from hand, warp one, that card that I need off the board right now, go ahead and get rid of it. Um, and then it's also a blocker. Like just the ability to use it in all those ways, I
Super
think
value.
it's a mandatory four of no matter what. Um, Salsa, definitely a four of. Helps you draw a whole bunch more. Also removes a card when it's played. It removes a card from hand, and then they draw one. And then every time it attacks, you can remove a card from battle card from the drop area to the warp, and then you draw a card. You always draw a card. So nice. Just be able to add an extra draw to the deck. That's basically where you get a lot of your draw power. Is that Shroom, a little bit of extra board removal for 3 or less. I think it has its moments when it is needed when you're playing against a deck that plays a lot of weenies. Sure. I still find myself not playing it as much as the other two. I think the other two are definitely they always do their work. Shroom does his work when it's needed. I'd hate to take it out. Um, Eric and I were talking about this, and I was like, yeah, I definitely don't want to take it out because I think it definitely deserves a
It's
spot.
valuable.
It just definitely is going to be at a lesser ratio. Um, but yeah, they're pretty self-explanatory. They help fuel your balls into your drop too. At first, I was thinking to myself, why would I want to just throw the balls into the drop and not get a draw off it, right? Um, it honestly helps you awaken turn two, or not awaken, but wish turn two. Turn two is pretty much the time you wish, unless you accidentally get another ball in your life, and those kind of suck whenever that happens. When you have three balls in your life, it's well,
That's
it's
just
one of those things
it's
that you have to
unfortunate.
deal with. But typically, even if you go turn one, you still typically can wish turn two with no problem. Uh, Typically, opening a ball in hand or something, and then using their effects to place up to two Dark Dragon balls into the drop area. So yeah, that's pretty much why I chose the ratios for them.
Yeah, this is why formats matter. Like best of one, we're in an aggro format. If it was like a more control based, slower format, sure, probably wouldn't have as much value, because three or
Yeah,
less, you're not hitting
definitely.
as many cards when you're playing against control decks. Maybe the floodgates, but in this scenario, you're playing in both the best of one, and you have decks like King Piccolo running around. They play a lot of like most of their cards are three or less, so that's also where it matters. In a best of three format, you might side this card, you might do different things. So I think this is very format based personally, but yeah, it's really really good ratios. I probably agree with the Toa thing. If you're not running for that card, it seems kind of neg. Um, it just does so much, man. Like it does four things for one energy basically. It's a blocker, warp a card from hand, warp a card from board, and it can mill your balls. Like
Yeah,
it's just such a good card. So next we've got two Mechikabura Ritual of Hand, which I don't like. I don't like that card for some reason. It just looks weird. Um, Old man Mechikabura looks really weird to me, and and then on the opposite side of that, we've got like one of the coolest cards, King Vegeta, Kingdom Lost. I wish they gave this card an SPR, if I'm being honest. Not that I'm complaining about Demigra getting an SPR, but card is just nuts. This card is just nuts, man. Like, I don't, I don't know how much you need to reiterate this when you talk about it, but like King Vegeta, Kingdom Lost is probably one of the most nuts like black cards to exist.
yeah, yeah. No, it definitely is. Like it's one of my favorite cards. I mean, you and I talked about it. It's such a good card. Has barrier, double strike, and then
So
just
good.
being able to choose a card from your opponent's hand. Like we'll talk about that a little bit more in the tournament breakdown. But man, I am telling you, like being able to pick a card from your opponent's hand at random is so
It's
good,
broken.
no matter what. It's just a busted ability. Like nine times out of 10, that's what I'm using it for, unless I just absolutely have to remove something off the board. Toa, that's why I play four of Toa.
Exactly. That's
Play
what I
four of
meant to
Toa.
mention.
Um, and then at two, I always saw this card. Always saw this card. Like I never found a game that I was like, man, wish I could find my King Vegeta. I always had it in hand. It was so nice. Ritual at hand, Mechikabura. Um, yeah, I this card I still struggle to find a whole bunch of value in it. But the thing is, I feel like I would hate to take it out because I feel like it is needed. Um, Basically, the reason I run two of and I still run him is whenever I have do pop my ultimate to refill my hand, like we talked earlier. A
Yeah.
little bit about that. Sometimes you got to pop your ultimate to refill your hand because your opponent's playing hand destruction or whatever you're just needing to refill your hand and swing the momentum back in your favor and just gain that value back. Um, you're not able to play any of your four or less or your four drop shrooms, salsa, or toas anymore for one energy. So that's where he comes in. He comes in so that late game, after you already popped your ultimate, that you can go ahead and be like, okay, I got ritual at hand on board. Most people aren't going to remove it. People typically will just let it sit there. They're going to choose some of your other cards that are going to cause them some problems to hit them. And you just pay one, top seven, and you can pull either any of those three: the shroom, salsa, or toa, the four drops only. Can pop those on board, and you can they get their full on play effects, which is really nice. That's the reason I run him. Um, like I said, he's all right. He's an okay
Yeah.
card.
He's not great.
He's very, yeah. It's only when he's needed.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep him in, because I know there's times that there are times, especially in this meta, that you are going to have to pop your ultimate early. It's just gonna happen. So most of the time, I just drop them, with Dark Empire Strikes Back, or drop them for, combo power or whatever it may be. But he does have his abilities, and versatility in it as well.
Yeah, he's just there. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's
I don't
just
like that
there.
card personally, but now we've got the big boys of the deck. Okay, these are the big men. We've got Dark King Mechikabura Power Restore. Card is absolute gas, and I don't know. They gave this deck so much gas, but after seeing it a little bit, I can let it slide. But we've got Mechikabura, and then we've got one of my favorite black cards in the game, Dark Mask King, Devilish Dominator. I love that card. So something that's really interesting to me is that people run these at like two ofs. Um, I guess the deck just, and that's what I hear too. The deck just draws enough to where you'll still see them like every game, which is really interesting to me. But yeah, I mean, great cards. There's not much to like talk about them in the sense of the finisher. I mean, Mechikabura just plays warp spore, which is great, and then they both have deflect, which is really good. They don't get hit by blue, which is the most important part, I think. And Mechikabura gives you that a little bit extra swings, and Dark Masking has that dual attack, triple strike potential, and then if you negate it, goes to the warp is really good. I think the more important distinction is, and Taylor can talk about this now, and whenever we talk about the tournament recap, which we will after the deck profile. But the more important part is the distinction of when to play each one, because they do both cost 4 energy. They have pretty easy requirements for
Mhm.
this deck, so yeah, like why these two finishers? I mean, yeah.
So first off, like I was saying earlier, I was playing Truman Salsa. So the Drip Jita, as I like to call him,
I hate it.
the King of Drip,
I hate
Vegeta.
it.
Absolutely love it.
Ugh.
Absolutely love it. I love that card to death. And as soon as Mechikabura, when I went ahead and made the decision to switch over to Mechikabura instead of playing Truman Salsa, I was like, you know what? I got to put this card in. I absolutely have to. Like, you're gonna have four. You go to 4 energy. You're gonna have three or more cards in your opponent's warp. That's not hard to come by.
It's not.
And you're even more times than not, you're going to be hitting that 10 more or more cards in their warp to switch it to active, make it a dual attacker.
It's crazy.
But like you said, when you're looking at what your opponent's playing, if they're playing blue or if they're playing green or if they're playing any of these others, whatever color they're playing and whatever matchup you're playing against, you have the versatility and the ability to look at these cards and be like, okay, which one do I need to go for? You can start making your game
It's
plan from
important.
right when your opponent sits down across from you and you see their leader and you're like, okay, I know what this deck has. I know what counterplays they play. I know what themes they do to be able to remove it. So,
Exactly.
Dark King is a 6 drop. He's 6 drop, which means that he can be stolen by the Lineage SCR. He can be hit by Frieza.
That's
He
foreshadowing.
can be negged down to 10 energy. And so those things that, I mean, you got to look at those things whenever you're looking at your opponent and what to play. Like you said, the two of, we'll talk about the ability to search, but I'm able to search out the 8 drop Mechikabura. That's why I only run two. I can search it out. It's basically pretty much just like Kai. You just do a full on board wipe, and then you get two bodies of your choice from their warp. Super, super nice just to be able to do that. 30k double striker, has versatility. Can't be hit by Frieza. Can't be hit by. They both can't be hit by Trunks, thankfully. But just being able to plop this on board and swing face with it is just so nice. So it
It's
has its
really good.
abilities both ways to look at. I found myself in the tournament looking at these cards in my hand and be like, okay, which one do I need to play? Do I need to play Dark King or Mechikabura, or do I need to play the Mask King? Which one do I need to do? And so it's just the ability to just pick and choose which finisher, and not just have to streamline just one win con. Because some decks they have those. They have those one. It's just a streamlined linear
I
line of
hate that.
play that you're just playing this one card to win the game. Thankfully, this doesn't have to have that. You can either go into these big boys and just go at them, aggro them out, or you can play the smaller ones with the Mechikabura 8 drop. Let's say your opponent has Violent Rays. You need to pick two 15Ks or two 19Ks or just some stuff under 20 or less, or under the 20K power, so you can get under that window of Violent Rays stopping them from attacking. Because when you put out Mechikabura, people are like, oh, we're going to go and Violent Rays it. Like,
Yeah.
cool, great. Let me swing with my 19K. Let me swing with all my 15Ks, and let me swing with the two 15Ks I just took from you too. You know, um, so just knowing your matchup, it's really rewarding
It's
to
really
know what
important.
your matchups are in terms of these finishers and how you can use them. Um, just so good. Just being rewarded for that. Um, just really really nice. So that's why I put 2 and 2. Some people like to run the Deluge of Darkness, the one that warps alive from your opponent. I
Oh yeah, the
actually
promo.
was running that. Yeah, I was running that promo, and I decided to take it out because I always felt like I wanted to do that so bad. I'm like, I want to burn my opponent's life. I want to burn my opponent's life,
Oh
you know.
no.
And it's a good card. Don't get me wrong, but I always felt like I would always try and go for that, and every time I go for it, it would not reward me. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to take it out. I'm going to run these
That makes
two. These
sense.
two are really really good, especially in conjunction with everything else that you're running in the deck. It just works so well.
Yeah, see there you have it. That's why decisions matter. That's why knowing your cards matters. So I'm glad that we were able to bring that knowledge out. That's the kind of step that you need to take to just be on that, on the higher step of the ladder. Um, it's that important to just sit down and already know what you're really going to be doing. So you don't have to sit there and think over it, because that's another, in tournaments you don't want to be sitting there and thinking for too long. Slow play, doing that. You want to know what you're doing, and building your deck is the first part of that. You have to know exactly what you're putting in your deck, and how to play it, and you have to know why you're playing it. So I'm glad that we
Yeah.
were able to talk
And
about these
that's
finishers
and
and
that's one of those great things is just, it rewards you for it, This deck specifically rewards you for it. There's nothing like we were talking about the leader. Man, this leader by itself it just sounds broken. But then you
it's
see the
extremely
engine,
good.
you're like, okay, this is a lot more fair than I thought it was,
Yeah.
you know. And just like there's a couple times that an opponent that I've had opponents play like Mechikabura the Broken Seal, and they're like, "Yo, Mechikabura 8 drop." I'm like, "Dope. Let me
Oh.
put out this Dark Mask King." And they're like, "Oh crap!" Like, yeah, like you forgot about this card. So just having those two lines of play is really really
It's
nice.
really good.
Yeah, it's really really nice to have that. So
Alright, so next up, we've got the negates of the deck. I, see, these are pretty common. There's not much explanation here, but it is part of the deck list, so we put them in. We talk about them. As far as the card
yeah,
goes, 3 power burst. It's power burst. Like, well, what do you want us to say here? 3 power burst. It is power burst. You do run some 1 drops, so you can recur those back into your hand. For Poutine, it's pretty self-explanatory. This card's an automatic 4 of in Mechikabura because it's literally Topo. I think the nicer part of this card compared to Topo is that you don't have to get rid of a card as part of the counterattack. It's part of the auto. So if it gets countered, it's like, okay. I don't lose an extra card in my hand. Um,
yep,
she has 15k as opposed to his 20 though, but I think the not losing an extra card if it gets countered is more valuable. And then you have Darkness Judgment, which is not really used as a negate, but it is a counterattack, and the fact that it is a free bean if you have 3 or more cards. If your opponent has 3 or more cards in the warp, sorry, um, it's a free bean. That card's insane. I mean,
yes.
you'll talk about
Oh,
it
it's
in the
it's
tournament
it's
recap.
nuts, man.
Yeah, we'll
It's
talk about it more in
nuts.
the tournament recap. But I mean, these are just self-explanatory. If you don't run these cards in your deck as your negates, um, it's kind of hard to justify something else. Like you don't really need Protector very much. Um, this is probably one of the
Yeah,
only decks
Darkness
that
Judgment just does it better. Like, I mean, it
exactly,
just
yeah.
does it so much
It's
better.
just a flat
And
five.
I just, yeah, I mean, I think it just having two things like you can negate with it, or you can just bean with it,
It's really good.
and you're able to make that decision, and just in the line of play that you're having to go against. If you're playing against somebody who's aggroing, and the crap out of you with 15Ks, perfect chance to just go ahead and Darkness Judgment, put yourself up to 20, makes them lose, make them have to combo up over to,
A lot of value.
up over the regular 15K. And then Power Burst, I just like this choice much better than the Supreme Kai Time Negate. I just think being able to not have to worry about having an energy open after I've already poutined, or after I already used my energy for something else.
Very true.
Just Power Burst, take a life because you're sitting at high life total. Go and take a life, and then pick up one of your one drops. Um, which
That's
we'll
one.
talk about the one drop I always pick up
Yeah.
here in a few minutes.
All right. So now it's time for the spicy stuff. This man. He might be bad at the game, but he does have some spicy tags once in a while. So starting off, these are still texts. You wouldn't necessarily think of these cards all the time, but they do run with the deck very well. I mean, they're Demon Realms, they're Demon God. One is a Toa, Dimensional Convoker. There's three, and then you've got Mechikabura the Broken Seal, which we talked about a little bit earlier, but he does run it in his deck as well. So these are very good, man. Like how did they run for you? Why'd you choose them?
So Toa Dimensional Convoker, as I've said, I think this is like the fifth time I've said it. I was playing Truman Salsa,
It's very
and
good.
that card is so good. Just being able to search, like, so I was counting up the cards, and literally, I'm pretty sure like half my deck, I think it's about 25 cards or something like that. It's up in the higher 20s.
It's a lot.
Um, is searchable through this card. Demon Realm Race, Demon God, Evil Wizard, like any of those, it hits. So it hits your big boss monster. It hits your other Toas. It hits your Shroom. It hits your Salsa. It hits your Mechikabura. It hits your Mechikabura one drop. It hits Poutine. So you're able to
Insane.
always find the stuff that you're needing to find. It hits the Broken Seal if you're absolutely needing that because your opponent's going to play a big boss monster next turn. Or you can hit your super combos. Just being able to search any of these cards out is just so powerful.
So
I don't understand why people aren't running this card. I think it is so good, and there's just so much value there to run it. One of our teammates was talking about it. I was just like, man, like you need that card in there. Like you need to put Dimensional Convoker in there. Like absolutely. Then there's the Mechikabura Broken Seal. This guy was one of the MVPs as well. My
it's
goodness,
crazy to think that.
just just knowing the line of play that your opponent's going for. If you know your opponent's sitting with Soul Striker across you, you start playing the Gohan Skillless, you're like, oh, okay, perfect. I know
I know
by
exactly what they're
turn
gonna do.
three, I need to have this in hand and play this. I need to play this card so I can make sure so it saves me another turn to be able to gather my resources and gather things I need. You can play them. It also searches a ball out. Searches Dark Dragon Ball. If you're just
It's
in
really good.
absolute need of getting one of your last Dragon Balls, you can play them turn two and grab it. Um, so just being able to use them both ways is that card is so good. People forget about it. People are always asking, "Does it have deflect?" I'm
I
like,
know mine
"Yes,
do.
it does have deflect. Thank God it has deflect." I was like, "Man,
It
like
would
I
kind of
need to
suck
get
if it
this
didn't
card
have it.
out." Yeah, because just being able to play that and just name a card, just make sure you know your opponent's card names, the character name, and then the energy cost, and then you're good to go. I think it pretty much is self-explanatory in what it does. So
Yeah, I really enjoy that card's design. It just rewards you. Like, I enjoy it because I know a lot of cards in the game. But it just rewards knowledge. I mean, that's exactly where you can shine a little bit more. You know, it's just
yeah,
knowing stuff.
exactly.
It's really really good. So next we have some random cards, namely the one in the middle. Uh, so we've got two BMS. I mean, that one's we know what that card does. We know what that's for. It's just it's a good card, especially in a best of one. It's almost um, imperative required for you to run BMS copies in your main deck, because there's just so many decks nowadays that it hits. There's so many cards that get played for free that are 15 or less, which is a different issue of its own. But uh, we have one human extinction attack, which is you might be like me. You might be looking at that card and thinking, "What in the hell? Like this guy really sucks at the game." But we've got that, and then we've got Tag Team San Gohan. Great card. I forget about it sometimes, but as a black card, it's super valuable because you can. I think the most interesting interaction with this card is that you can overwhelm, and then when your overwhelm goes away at the end of the turn, you can play this card. So I think these are, once again, some really good techs. But let's talk about the human extinction attack.
Yeah. So go ahead. If you read it, you can see one of the reasons why. So you can choose any battle card in your opponent's drop area. The whole
You choose
deck
it.
of Mechikabura is not you choosing; it's your opponent choosing the battle card.
Exactly.
So your opponent choosing the battle card, they can keep their ones that they need to keep on there. If they have a draw heap in there, they're definitely not going to choose that. Or if you're playing
Yeah,
against launch,
exactly.
they're not going to choose that card.
I'm gonna
They
choose
have
that
the
launch.
choice. And so sometimes it's just able to help further that, just to make sure you can get one of their good cards out of the drop. If they have Rubrian, or if they have, whatever they have in that drop area, just be able to make sure you get that warped. Really powerful. And then just the one energy 15k plus to any of your
Sweet.
battle cards or your leader card. Helps defense, helps push in a little bit more aggro wise. Um, I was actually playing 3 Super Saiyan 3 Tag Team Gohans, and I was always pulling all 3 into my hand. And I was like, I need to stop seeing 3
That's
of these
funny.
cards in my hand every game. It was just ridiculous. I was like, I need to stop seeing this card so much. And so I decided to go ahead and cut one of those and put this in instead, just to help deal with their drop area. So some more graveyard hate, and then also just the one energy 15k. And plus, I do like the art. I love Majin Buu, so that's one of the reasons too. So
Okay, Mister. We're gonna put cards in the deck because I like the art. Okay, Brad Brown. Freaking Mister. I foil every deck I own, and then I don't care about how much money I spend. Oh my, these guys. Oh, okay. Well, I can't really say anything because if I had that money, I would max rarity every deck that I like. We're not gonna.
yeah,
We're not
yeah,
talking. We're not
no,
talking
you
about
would.
that. No. That's irrelevant. We're not talking about me here. We're talking about you. We're talking about Brad. You both suck. Okay. But yeah, like one thing that I find really interesting about this deck is, if you notice, like a lot of cards, other than the main engine, they're two ofs. Um, you
Yep.
draw a lot. The only cards that you really want to play multiples of are going to be that Shroom, that Salsa, that Toa, because it's really easy to play them a lot of times, and they're not like unique. They're not like limited. So
Yeah,
you want to play those
yeah.
more, but then since you're drawing so much, you have a lot of leeway for other stuff. So last cards we have here are some overwhelm cards, and you might be looking at these getting a little confused because we're running overwhelm in a wish deck, but to me it just kind of made sense. If you sit down and think about it for a little bit, um, most of the time, unless like Taylor, we've said before, unless you're playing something like aggro hand destruction, you need to replenish that hand with your ultimate wish really fast. In which case, it might be even better to have the overwhelm for that push. You're
Hmm.
you're not going to hinder yourself by overwhelming because you're going to do that wish, and then you've got your drop area available for whatever you want. So, if your game is going really long, even then it doesn't matter because as you can tell here, brainwashed, you probably don't overwhelm as much. Even though I really like overwhelming this card, you have it for that secondary effect. And fighting against fate, I there's like probably almost no situations in which you like randomly overwhelm this card. It's always going to be your finisher, and it's always going to look really good if you have the winner card. So that's your extra like step. That's your extra bonus. A nice looking card. But yeah, Taylor will attest to this too. I mean, I'm the one that recommended it. I'm always trying to think of other stuff. But yeah, like why what made you choose these two in the end, and how did they work?
Yeah. So fighting against fate. I mean, dual attack 25k. Like, it's so nice just being able to pop it out. Both of them free overwhelms. Like they cost 6. It's overwhelm 6,
Really good.
and you don't have to pay an energy. I was thinking of because at first, I was like, man, I could put Creator Absorbed in there. Everybody loves putting Creator
True.
Absorbed in every black deck. Just to be able to do that infinity,
Broken.
almost
It's broken.
infinity, combo. It's so nice. It's so nice. The Champa mirror combo. But I just found myself, wanting to have the ability to. I'll give you the scenario of one of the things I like to do. So I like to pop my ultimate, bot deck one, attack 3 times, right? Attack with all of my board. Play for 4 energy. I'll play either the Dark King or I'll play Mechikabura, one of the two, and then attack with those cards. And then if you still need to go in, you have your, because you're
Exactly.
you're literally just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing into your opponent, making them lose cards and lose value out of their hand, trying to protect themselves. And then you just, you know, and then they're like, okay, cool, I
I
survived everything.
lived.
And then you overwhelm, and they're like,
Uh,
crap. you know,
ow.
like so many times I've done it where I just played Bardock, and they're like, well, yep, that's
Well,
game. And then during my turn, the tournament and stuff, I was actually, there was one game that I was going to overwhelm, um, the Mass Saiyan Brainwash No More. Just a really good card. It saves you out of a lot of situations, and people forget about it. People forget that it's a card. Um, you're sitting there, they're going into a triple strike, and they just dump their whole hand, and you're like, cool. Tap one
pay
energy,
one.
pay one,
You see the
pay the
life
life.
drain out of their face as you
Yeah,
put
you
your
see
life
it,
in the
and you're like,
drop,
and
and they're like,
they're like,
no.
that was my last attack. I'm like, yeah, and then they're like, pass, and you're like, cool, I win the
Right.
game.
GG.
Just really, really, really good card. Just be able to protect from those matches that are aggroing you, to where you can't do anything. Just really nice to be able to take that one life instead of two or three. Um, I found this card in my hand. All of these cards, like, you talked about, a lot of these are two ofs. And that's what's really cool about this deck is just the versatility to be able to build it how you want to play the game. However you want to
I like
play
that.
this deck, you can make it. They give you the main engine pieces. They give you the shrooms. There's also the toas, the poutines, the balls, and then ritual at hands and the
The
finishers. But
balls.
the rest of the deck is your ability to make it however you want, and
I
I
love
love
that.
that. I just love being able to be rewarded for the cards that I want to choose, that I want to play, and I don't have to specifically play this one card because this is the only card that will fit in here. You know, um, I like just being able to switch it up. If I was playing one brainwash, but I bumped it up to two. I just wanted to make sure I found it more often. Same thing with Bardock. I want to play two of, so I can find it. And as the overwhelms, they have their ability to go offensively. You can also bait your opponent. I baited my one of my opponents that had a Frieza counterplay in hand,
It's
and I
really
was like,
good.
I'm gonna overwhelm for free, and then after that, I'm gonna play the Dark Mask King, and he's not gonna get hit with a Frieza counterplay because you already played it. So
Broken.
just that free overwhelm is there's the ability to be able to use it in many different ways than just yeah, it's a finisher, but you can use it for more than just that, for baiting your opponent or for doing it to attack some of the battle cards and get some of their some of the removal that you need. Whatever you need it for is really really nice. So
Yeah. All right. So that's gonna be it for the deck profile part of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're not gonna stick around for the tournament recap, I appreciate you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. But really quick, just really quick, I do want to go over the tournament recap that Taylor went through this last Saturday. It was a pretty big regional for being online. About it was almost like 250 players, I believe. It is a shame that they didn't do top 32 for an event of that size, really. I do think I personally believe that Bandai is just trying to hand out less invites since people already had them from last year, like I do. But it's just when that many people have a 6-2 record and you just happen to just bubble out. It feels bad, but it was still a really good tournament run. I mean, you look at these round matchups, and it was not easy to go 6-2. So really quick, I don't want to spend too much more time. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I do really want to run over these, and there was a couple really important ones that we will go a little bit more into depth, because he's my teammate. I talked to him, so we were talking about the tournament that he had, and like that launch matchup, and a couple of the meta matchups you see Mecha, like the Mecha and King Piccolo win. Those those are big. So I do want to talk about those a little bit more. But here round one, Mirror Loss, Mecha, Soul Striker, Android 18 mil. I don't like that deck. Why? I
Me
don't
neither.
look. I don't know. Like people say it's good, and I would probably have to agree with Scott Dashy to some extent. Like it's kind of like a bad deck idea that just kind of works if you don't know what you're playing against. But like Taylor would say, this is a scenario where having knowledge of the deck helps you out and just makes that matchup like much easier. So let's just start from the top. You can go through your 8 rounds as you go, and just any more detail you need to give other than the loss or the win, you can go ahead and do whatever.
Yeah, definitely. So round one, Mechikabura, that was my round one loss. I absolutely despise the mirror match in
Mirrors are
of
always
Mechikabura.
bad, no matter what.
um, yeah, it was tough. Like just sitting there, you have to worry about your drop getting warped, and then
Exactly.
you're trying to warp their drop, and it's just, especially with the sparking super combo, that's where it kind of, you got to keep your balls in your drop, otherwise you're not gonna be able to draw. So just that part, and then not knowing what secret. Like I had in my head, I'm like, he's either running this Kai secret rare or he's running the lineage secret rare. And the reason that he got me and was because I played. I made a misplay and I played Dark Mask King instead of the Mechikabura 8 drop, because I was like, man, he's probably gonna be looking for the Mechikabura 8 drop, and I was just going through my mind. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna choose this other one, swing into him, hope he doesn't have it. I knew it was a possibility. I played it. He stole it. I was like, well, there's that.
Oh well.
So that was one of the big reasons is that, and he did really well at removing my salsa, like on the early turns, so he couldn't just produce value over the game. I like to play salsa really, really early, turn one, turn two play, just to be able to keep drawing. That's fuel the
Yep.
warp for your, their warp for you, and then also drawing a card every time. Um, so he did that, and it really hurt me. And then so I lost that match, and then went on, and I played Mecha Frieza. In my head, I was like, oh god, Mecha Frieza. Like,
Yeah,
I
exactly. I was
was just like, oh
surprised to
man,
hear
like
that
this
you
is gonna
won
be
this.
tough. Yeah. Like I was just like right after that, I was like Mecha Frieza. I'm like, oh no. But honestly, it turned out to be a little bit of an easier matchup than I thought it was going to be. I don't know, what the circumstances were, if he just wasn't seeing his pieces or what it was, but the matchup, I just felt in control most of the game. I was just controlling his board very easily
Mm-hmm.
with taking his. He'd always, I'd attack. He'd pull
Riposte.
out the Mecha Frieza for one
I hate
energy
that
and
card. I
make
hate
me,
that card.
you know,
Oh my.
you have to, you have to rest something every time that you
Freaking
swing.
swing.
And so I'm
God.
like, cool. I'm gonna go ahead, and so he'd play that, and I'm like, cool. Let me bot deck one and let me take that.
That's
I'll swing
toxic.
with my leader now. I will draw a card and I'll rest that Mecha
That's
Freeze I
even
just
more
stole from you because
toxic.
it's just a skillless card. Um, it just, whenever they're playing battle cards, I mean, go, please go ahead. And so
I hate it.
whenever people are playing against Mechikabura, I think they're gonna learn, like, am I going to retain
Do not play
value
cards.
by by playing this battle card negate? Is a battle card negate worth playing against this deck because they can just take it and turn it on me and use it for me?
Yep.
You're not going to get to use that card. I will make sure of that, and I know most of the Mechikabura
It's
players will make
toxic.
sure of it too. They'll make sure that you're not going to get to play it. It's the same thing with Poutine. you can steal their Poutine or they steal your Poutine. It's just one of those things with Battle Card Negates now. And so I just
Oh
used
yeah.
that, cleared his board out pretty easily. Just took control of the match and just made sure. I mean, I had a fat hand and he had a smaller hand. And I was like, cool. I'll just swing into you with all these small bodies that I got. Not just for my board state, playing cards, but also from taking his cards as well. So round three was Soul Striker Gohan. I have this deck built. I know how it plays. I know exactly, how it
Why'd you
goes. So I was
lose?
warping.
Oh my
I know,
god.
right? I know, I know. And so this was the one match, and I'm telling you, the one match out of all the games I've ever played with this deck that I did not see four of my cards. I didn't see the Mechikabura A
Yeah,
drop,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
see the Dark King.
That's an excuse.
And
That's an
it's
excuse. You suck.
right.
Alright,
It's an
moving on.
excuse. It's an excuse.
Ew, that-
Um, but in the game, I warped every time he played a skillless, like his turn one play. On my turn, whenever I'm attacking him, he's gonna play a
Nimbus
skillless
Master.
with Nimbus
Hell
Master.
yeah. The best card in the game.
Such a good
I
card.
love Skillless.
Um,
Skillless is the best engine in
I
the game.
love it. I love it. I love it too. I'm right there with you. And so I knew he was gonna play it. And I was like, cool. I'm just gonna warp it, or take control. You do one of the two. You make sure that they're not able
Yeet.
to play the cards that they want to play by warping it or taking control of it. And so that's most of the time what I was doing. He'd play Trunks counter tracks, so the hero
Steal it.
prospect. He keep playing. He played those like I think he played three of those. I took control of every
It's
single one.
crazy.
Um, and so I had like a big board state, and I was just swinging into them with all these different cards. And then, whenever it came to turn three, I played Mechikabura,
Ten drop
Broken
Gohan.
Seal, and called out the Gohan, made sure
Okay,
he
yeah.
couldn't play the Gohan, and so I felt in control. I was like, great. Um, and so I couldn't finish him off with all the cards that were in my hand. So I was like, well, frick,
Yeah, because you're bad.
like because he baby hatched. He baby hatched. I can't remember what turn he baby hatched. I think it was turn four he baby hatched. I was like,
Okay.
frick. I was like, I need to get
Yikes.
rid of that card. So I'm gonna play Toa, get rid of it, um, and then buy myself another turn by playing Mechikabura, Broken Seal. I did that. He did minimal things. He had his unison out.
Right.
Soul Striker stuff.
Soul
Um,
Striker stuff.
and then the reason, it came back to me. I had the ability, I had cards for defense in my hand. I was like, cool. I have defensive cards. I can survive the next turn. He plays another 10 drop Gohan. Sure, I don't care.
Not too
And then
bad.
he puts out Fu Shrouded of
Shrouded
Mystery. I was
Mystery.
like, oh my gosh. Like, well,
Card's
GG.
still broken. It's a
I
Sec
had
3 card, bro, and that
I
card is still
know. I
insane.
know. I'm telling you, Mass Saiyan, Brainwash No More. I made sure he couldn't kill me with the one turn he did play Gohan, and then he played.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I couldn't find my cards. Right when I did pay an energy to play Salsa and
You
draw a
find it
card,
then.
I found my Dark Mass King. I was like, well,
Yikes.
there we go. There it is. So that was that matchup. Um, it wasn't too bad, honestly. Soul Striker Gohan's good deck, really good deck, but I still think it's beatable.
Yeah.
Mill
And
18
Mill
was the
18 was
next.
just calling Frieza off
Yes.
Mechikabura, right?
Oh man, the reason I won that one. Well, I knew exactly what he was doing when he put out the leader, and then he wasn't attacking my leader. I was like, he's going for the mill strat.
He's going for the
Like I know
mill.
exactly what he's doing. He's
Mill
literally
2,
gonna go
please.
just try and mill me out. Um, so I just played all of my little guys, stole his trunks, and just attacked with trunks. I played King Vegeta, Kingdom Lost.
Card's broken.
I love this.
Card's
I
so
got his
broken.
secret rare, so I got Baby Hatch out of that. I played the Kingdom Lost and got his Baby Hatch, and he was like, "Well, frick." I'm like, "Yep, uh, that's how it goes." And then I played on turn four. I made sure to play Mechikabura Broken Seal, call out Frieza 5 drop, make sure he isn't going to be able to play that, and then I just aggroed him down. He had to drop all of his freezes out of hand. I was like,
Passed on.
perfect.
Yeah.
Um, he had a really small hand. I had a really big hand, so it was really nice. Um, I made sure to warp the Android 16 as well. You always got to make sure to get rid of those, take control, or get rid of those because um, I have a guy that plays at locals
What,
with it.
Infinite Energy?
I just
Oh, I
uh,
thought you were about to say that
no,
like
no, no,
Infinite
no, no,
Energy was the.
no. The one that they pop a token, they play it, and then it pretty
Oh, the
much
blue one. The one one that puts so
Yeah,
much
it
times
doubles.
everyone. Yeah,
It gives you more tokens,
card is so weird.
because they just want to mill you out for your tokens. You can also play Black Messian, and it makes them drop a card for every token that they play. So,
Well, they can get rid of it for free with the leader, so that card's kind of irrelevant.
yeah, they can. It is. But some people forget about it. So
Well,
some
you
people
just
want to get
did
that
because
draw
you suck.
instead. Um, Next after Mill 18
What Majin
was
Vegeta?
Majin.
It was because
Yeah, Majin
that one
Vegeta.
was because he whiffed to the 4 drop twice, right?
Oh
That's
man,
just
yes,
super
he
unlucky.
whiffed
Like,
with the 4 drop. I got really lucky off that. I did have a lot of protection. I had 3 Darkness Judgments in hand,
oh
which
my.
would have made me a
Okay, well
30K
you just
leader.
win the game at that point. Like,
What was
that's
that?
dumb. You just win the game at that point. You have three
Oh yeah,
freaking beans against an
like
aggro
he
deck.
could have gone into the 7 drop. He could have gone into, he could have attacked with a bunch of cards, but
He
I
still has a
just made
combo.
sure I had a really high life total.
Yep,
Had
exactly.
Brainwash no more, had Darkness Judgments in hand, so I was comfortable with it. Um, Next matchup after Majin Vegeta was
Tien.
Tien.
You said that was a
Yeah,
grindy
Tien.
one, but that was that. I mean, that's really it though,
That
right? It was just it's just that blue. I can't talk. It was just your
yeah.
typical like grindy match, right?
Yeah, this was such a grindy matchup. Oh my gosh. Um, Honestly, like this is the one where I baited out
Oh, the
his
Frieza.
Frieza. So yeah, I baited out his
Yeah,
Frieza with my uh
Gohan.
Bardock. Yeah, so my overall Bardock, I baited it out. He KO'd it. I had another one in hand for the next turn, so I was like, it's no big deal.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna fill out my drop real quick. Um, he was playing the Bardock Unison, so I couldn't use. I had Sin in my hand like turn
okay.
2, and I was like, oh my
That
gosh.
sucks.
So it kind of sucked because I was like, man, I could just go and do this, but I was like, wait,
But you
nope,
can't
can't.
because it'll
He
get
has that card
sacked.
right there. That Unison really messes
It's
up Sin because
it's
you
really
have to
strong
combo it,
still.
and it has to be at the end of battle.
Yeah.
Um, so it was just really grindy, hitting me with crits. I had a high life total most of the game, which was really nice. He was really trying to destroy my hand, like really, really hard. He got rid of my whole board with Kai. If I remember, yeah, if I remember correctly,
Okay.
yeah, he got rid of my whole board with it, and I was like, well, frick.
But
Um,
you just won
I
eventually,
was like,
right?
and I played a Super Saiyan 3 Gohan, tag team Gohan, so that was nice.
Yeah, the
Um,
card's good.
just being able to play that. Honestly, Darkness Judgment came in clutch at the end. I had one in hand, had a Brainwash in hand,
Oh
and
yeah,
had a
that's right.
Negate in hand. He made me discard 2 cards. I'm like, well, I think the best decision right here is to keep Darkness Judgment
Darkest
in hand
Judgment,
and
because
get
he's
rid
gonna
of these
swing
2
a
other
lot. You know,
cards.
especially after he plays
Um,
Rosie, right? It makes you discard because she's
yeah,
gonna get
yeah,
triple
because
attack. So
he popped the ultimate on the Unison and was going in for triple attack. I had 5 life. He put me down to 3. Um, I was like, frick. I was like, what am I gonna do now? Um, and so I was like, oh, Darkest Judgment. I finally pulled it in hand. He played Rosie. I discarded the other 2, the Brainwash and the Negate. I was like, I'm going to keep Darkness Judgment in hand. He attacks. My cool Darkness Judgment makes me 20K for the turn. He's like, what's the conditions on that? I'm like, you have 3 cards in your warp. He's like, oh, I'm like, yep.
broken card.
Um, so I did that, put me up to 20. He attacked with Bardock.
And then you just couldn't
I
get
got
through.
another card, and it was another Darkness Judgment. I was like, perfect. Darkness Judgment again,
25.
25K
Jeez.
for the turn. So the other cool thing is you always get to look at your life with this deck.
That's
You're
true.
always going to see what's in your life, and no matter if you get to, you're not going to get to situate it how you want, of course, but you
Right.
do get to see what's in your life at the very
You know what's
beginning.
in there.
I always go for my life, see what's in my life, see if there's any balls in there. And actually, a lot of the games I had no balls in my life, which was really really nice. Um,
It's really good.
and so just being able to know what's in your life and know that have that knowledge allows you to play certain ways in your different matchups. After TN, I went right into King
King
Piccolo.
Piccolo.
I was like, oh no. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
mean,
King
you know,
Piccolo.
everybody
Um,
knows this deck. Everybody knows how dumb it is. You know, you want
yeah,
to.
it's
I mean,
such a
King
good
Piccolo and
deck.
Mecha. You know, I was at locals when you sent me that you beat King Piccolo. I know it was in the middle of the game, so I couldn't text back. But I was like, what the hell? He just beat King Piccolo. What? But
Yeah,
I
like
mean, it seems
I
pretty
was like, I
self-explanatory.
sat across and I was like, King Piccolo, crap. Like that's the first thought that went through my head. I was like, King Piccolo, this is the one game. This is the one matchup I do not want. Um, and because it's just one that I've always been a little bit weary of, just because of all the battle cards they can play.
Yeah, it's
They
just
just
really
generate
good.
so much value, draw so much. Like you just sit there and you're like, how are you drawing this much? Like you just don't get it when you're. And so it's just one of those ones I
Right.
hadn't practiced a whole bunch, and I was like, man, I don't know how this is gonna be. We'll see. So what I did is I really focused on aggroing his unison. I just making sure
Yeah,
he didn't
it's
get
good.
to use his leader effect to be able to flip over his life. Another thing was he took 2 life really fast. Like I attacked with my lead and then attacked with Salsa, and he took one of the life that was face up, and I was kind of intrigued why he did that instead of trying to awaken early.
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
anyways, turn 2, I established BMS, um,
That
and
card hurts.
that really hurt him. That hurt him really, really bad. Just establishing that early, had a salsa and a BMS established early.
You
He
absolutely
decided
have
to
to
get rid
have.
of the salsa, and so he got rid of the salsa instead of the BMS because he kind of hit it off of the counterplay. That kind of hurt him. This game, I played both of my King Vegeta Kingdom Losts. I
Oh,
played both of them
that's
this game. One of them, I hit his Kai Secret Rare, and then I hit another card later on. Um, felt really, really good.
cool. Yeah, I
Whenever
mean,
you do that, whenever you hit a secret rare, you're like, yes. You feel like you won the lottery. You're like, yes, that is amazing. Feels so
yeah,
good.
you feel like you don't
but
suck. You feel like you don't suck for a second, and then you get brought back to reality.
right, yeah, exactly. He had Violent Rays. He had, I'm just gonna ignore that. He had Violent
Oh
Rays.
my.
He Violent Rayed a lot. He Violent Rayed like several turns in a row, and I was like, cool, like I don't care. Like I'm gonna attack with all my 15Ks and my leader.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember
Like
what
nice
I
negate.
did. Like he had his, yeah, it's a really nice negate, but it just doesn't do much against Mechikabura unless you don't play it correctly.
True.
Um, I remember I popped my ultimate. I took out his unison with all 3 of my swings because he's sitting there with like a 2 to 3 card hand because I just
Yeah.
been attacking his unison pretty much the whole game. Um, and then at the end, I just lay into him with all of my cards because he didn't have anything. The one thing I did with Mechikabura 8 drop is whenever I played him in this matchup, I warped his whole board and made sure to grab 2 15Ks. Um, grab 2 15Ks.
To get
I
around
swung with
violent
Mechikabura.
rays.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna violent ray, so I'm like, cool,
Nice.
like whatever, like it's not a big deal. Go ahead, drop a card. Like it doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna swing face with all of these cards I stole. Kept stealing his 4 drop double striker negate card that you play in rest mode. I kept stealing that card too. He kept
Come
playing it,
on.
and I kept stealing it. He was trying to protect his unison. And I'm like, let me bot deck and let me take it. I'm gonna attack your unison now with it.
Toxic.
Um, and so it was just really nice just being able to do that against King Piccolo, and honestly, it was one of the easiest matchups I had all day. One of the easier ones. I wouldn't say it's still easy; like you still had to play hard,
Oh
but
yeah. King
it was
Piccolo being
still,
easy is only like a privilege that Gohan gets to say, I guess.
yes, exactly. Um, and so that was that, and then my last matchup was Red Green Launch.
Disgusting
My
deck.
Sin Secret Rare, like that deck is really good. I again I played a little bit against Red Green Launch, but I don't have much knowledge of it except for I know
Sense
because I play
so
Red Green.
much.
I know they're playing Piccolo the Eradicator. I know they're playing the Gogeta
Sheesh.
that KOs something, and they're playing the Acrobatic Warrior that's going to burn you. And their whole goal is to just burn you down.
Burn the
You
crap out of
know,
you.
um,
It's
and
toxic.
so the this is where um, if I remember, yeah, I'm almost positive this is where uh, uh, Majin Buu Extinction Attack came in clutch. Uh, it was this game. I was protecting myself and had to use it. Also use Brainwash No More. That was nice.
It's a really good card.
Um, and
The main
then,
one
but the
about this
really,
one,
really,
yeah,
I'm
it was
telling you,
Run.
the best play was whenever he attacked me. I had 3 life. Yeah, I had 3 life left because he'd been burning me the whole game. I was like,
Right.
frick, like this sucks. He was burning me the whole game, and I blocked. So he attacks lead to lead because I stole all of his cards, so he didn't have any cards on the board yet, um, except for
Hilarious.
one super combo. And so he swings lead, and I'm like, cool. I'm gonna block with Toa. Um, he's like, cool combo, red green, and then he starts rivaling stuff and he didn't KO my Toa, which I was so thankful for. Because I was like, man, if he KOs my Toa, like I know he's gonna play Eradicator of the Peace.
And you're gonna
I
freaking
know he's gonna
die.
do that. I know this line of play. I know what he's gonna do, and he ends up KOing my Salsa, which is also another good play. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
like totally understandable. He was probably thinking in his head that I wasn't running the Sin Secret Rare,
Exactly. Yeah.
but um, he goes ahead and he plays that, and I was like, he plays his Gogeta, plays his Acrobatic Warrior, does all the stuff that it does. I'm like, cool. Tap one because I had 3 energy open, so I tapped one, played Sin, comboed Sin, and he's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, yeah. Tap another energy at the end of combat, and I went ahead and rested literally every battle card he
Everything.
had on board. He had 5
Broke it.
energy, so I rested them all.
Broke it.
Rested his. He had Gogeta, both Gogetas out. He had a Topo out. He had the Trunks that comes out for free. I can't
Oh
remember
yeah, the
what that
blocker.
Counterblast, I think it is.
Yeah. Oh,
He has
something.
that one out.
The blocker
You know,
revenge.
what was it?
The
Yeah,
blocker
the one
revenge.
with
Yeah.
the blocker revenge one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used that one.
Albion,
It
I
was
believe.
really cool line of play how he did it. He'd like play the Eradicator piece and then play that card out for free, and then he'd burn you with it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't end up winning the next turn, but he went into me again. I had enough. I was like, okay, I have enough. He
Defense.
went for the last burn kill and went into the double strike, and I had I already Darkness Judgment that turn, and then I was able to combo out because I had enough cards in my hand to combo out. So just being able to do that. I also negated, picked up my Toa Convoker. Just being able to do that is really nice. Being
It's
able
really
to pick
good.
up a 1 drop. It's just so nice. Helps you get more combo power. Because I negated one of his attacks and then he attacked again. I was like, well, here we go. He's gonna Champa. He Champa. And I was like, okay. Let me try and combo out, and I ended up comboing out. And then he was like, well, I got nothing in hand. I'm like, cool.
Alright,
Swing
GG.
lead and take him out. So yeah, that was the tournament. It was really good. Was a really nice tournament. Ran very very well. Really hard. I will say that this deck does not auto win against any deck.
Yeah, you have to
It's
play
not
it
one of
out.
those that you have to play it out, and that's what I love about the deck. I love it. Just feels so rewarding as a player to be able to go through, play against your opponent at their
Yep.
best, and beat them. Like I can't find anything more rewarding than that, and it just rewards your line of plays. Like if that is your type of play style, play this deck. I'm telling you, you'll enjoy it. It's not broken. It's not something that your opponent's just upset about because you just do broken things. Like sure, some things are really good, like taking your opponent's cards. Like that's so good. Just inherent removal is so nice, but it's not broken.
It's
Like
not
you
broken.
still have to play hard. You're not just going to go into a match and be like, "Yep, I got this." Um, so as long as you know your opponents and what they're playing, like I think you got a chance to win with it. But yeah, that was the tournament. It was really fun. 6-2. I did bowl out. It sucks, but
It sucks
you know,
so
it's
much,
still
man.
it does. But I will say, like I honestly felt so good after the tournament.
Yeah, of
Like I
course.
felt accomplished as a player. I was like I went 6-2 with a deck that people are saying is tier 2. Like that is to me an accomplishment.
It's really good.
And so I just all you other players out there that played in the tournament with Mechikabura, like congrats on making it, and doing it because people were like, man, you're not playing a meta deck. I'm like, nope, this is what I want to play. I wanted to play this deck, and I did well with it, and that's what feels good. Something of my own creation, tech with all the text and stuff, and just feels accomplished whenever you're able to outplay your opponent or outwit your opponent just with knowledge and with
Always
swinging
feels
the
good.
momentum in your favor. It just feels really really nice. So
Yeah, and I hope that the point of this stuff to me is always, I hope it inspires other people to try harder, get some ideas from these lists, and just keep trying because skill ceilings exist, but the most important part is always just enjoy the game. That's always the most important part. It is a card game after all. You want to make sure you're enjoying it. So whether that entails being able to win more or just having a better deck, stuff like that. Um, I hope that we were able to help with this video, and if you stayed all the way, I appreciate you a lot. If you didn't and you're not watching this video anymore, in which case there's no point in me saying this, but it's still okay. I appreciate anybody that comes in and watches any part of my videos, because I'm here to make videos for y'all, and I'm here to do the best that I can to give you some creativity and some out of the box thinking. When I start doing more tech profiles of what I build, you'll start to see that. You'll notice that I like skillless very very much.
yes,
It's the thing I have
definitely.
a meaningful top with. My invitational, I top with my go on list. Um, but yeah, man, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful. You gained some insight. I hope that you learned how much this guy truly sucks, and you'll hear that a lot more from me because.
Yes, way way more.
but now I love my team. I'm very glad that Brad reached out to me that one day, and I'm very glad to have a really good team owner. Shout outs to Alan because he's always on top of everything. He's a very busy man, so sometimes he misses things, but um, I'm very glad to be a part of this team, and I'm glad to decide to make content, and I really hope that I'm able to contend with some of the other people, and give you different kind of different. Why can't I talk, bro? I hope that I'm able to give a different kind of insight into some other content. It is longer, length, but it'll be worth it. In my opinion, my big thing is always giving that detail and giving that in-depth talk. So especially on these team videos, if I'm featuring somebody from my team, you can always expect a longer video. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be as annoying with other random people that I might end up featuring unless they're also my friends. I always want to make sure that everybody's in the spotlight because at the end of the day, you're coming onto the channel to present your deck through me, and it matters a lot to me that you get your proper representation. You get to say everything that you want to about your deck and just anything. Even if you want to say that your tournament recap too, like it's very important to me. So I'm glad that I'm going to be able to get to make this type of content, and this is the very start of it. PVE, we're gonna start strong. It started. You could argue that it started 3 months ago with me topping the invitational, but this is the start of it. He didn't technically top, but he does have the score to be in that top and still top 32 out of like 250 people at an online event where if you look at the top 16, it was very stacked. Um, it's meaningful to me, and you will hopefully be seeing more of us in those top cuts, and you'll be seeing more deck lists from us on this channel. So, with that being said, um, Taylor, do you have any last words you want to say? Okay, well, with that being said, um, we will cut it here. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.